So, writing for basses. I think this can be one of the most interesting parts of the composition process. And I'm going to be a little bit self-indulgent and say that a bit of that is to do with the variety of ways in which you can use a bass one. So often when we sing music in VOCES8, sometimes we have parts where the bass one works very much with the second bass, creating thick chords at the bottom of a texture. But there's also another role, which is sort of as a third tenor, which can be a really nice way to bridge the sort of textural gap between the lower and the middle register of the ensemble. I think that's a really good way to introduce variety into a composition.
Yeah, and speaking of thick chords, having a fifth placed at the bottom of the texture will really make the chords stack up nicely, particularly when your second basses are going very low. So anything sort of below the stave, make sure you have a fifth in the first bass above that, because that really gives the foundation to the chord. It actually makes the lower bass sound louder and then gives everyone else on top a good platform to base their sound on.
We're very used to being the root, the fundament of things down in the bass section. But one thing to think about is not just using root position chords, and actually perhaps using inversions of chords to create bass lines that don't just move up a fourth, down a fifth, up a fourth, down a fifth, but actually move by step. And that's a really, really good way to give a harmonic progression some momentum and energy that drives it forward.
And because we're normally singing in our speaking register, we at the bottom can really give a good amount of text to the ensemble, much more so than when the tenors and particularly the sopranos are very high. So if you have descant lines, for example, in a soprano part, and you still want the text to be heard, give it to us, because we can normally make it come across.